Welcome to your yoga practice. Thanks for joining me. I feel a coolness coming in with this second half of August. I like it in some ways, and in other ways I think it's a little bittersweet, and I feel a certain sadness about summer is going to end. So find your steady, easy seat and arrive in your body and connect with that, whatever your emotional experience is right now. Maybe unlike the bittersweet feeling that I'm having, you're having something else going on. Each person has their own unique way of feeling what is happening. And feel that interplay between the internal experience, your own terrain, the inner terrain, and then what's happening all around you. And turning your gaze inward, see if you can distinguish between any reactivity that you're having to all of the events and emotions and activities that are happening around you in your life, in your work, in your home. Because oftentimes that kind of takes us out of our center and our groundedness, and we don't connect with what our experience is. So see if you can find both of those for a moment and really also find the demarcation between the two. And then see if you might really sort of make a boundary to set all that other stuff aside and just be with what you're feeling right now. So as you drop into your steady, easy seat, into your experience of this present moment, also find your breath. And allow your breath to really support your ability to ride the waves of that internal ocean of emotion, of physical sensations, of mental activity, and your energy level. So first, using the breath just to connect with all of that and begin to ride on it. And then when you're ready, engage with your ocean breath so that you can start to regulate your whole experience. That you can decide how you want to feel, what you want to focus on mentally. Energetically, it will probably be more about allowing your energy to be as it is, but you might find that as you regulate the emotions and the thoughts and honor the physical sensations, that your energy will shift as a result. And then engaging with your ocean breath so that you really do begin to be like a divine power, a deity who can control the ocean, who can control your inner weather. Engaging the glottis, the base of the throat, to draw the breath in deeply. And again, continuing to activate that little muscle to release the breath out with control. All nostril breathing if possible. And if the ocean breath doesn't feel right for you or you haven't really learned it yet, then just go with your natural breath, but try to stay with the nostril breathing. And then beginning to regulate the breath a little further. This is one of the most simple yet powerful and profound ways of regulating the breath, besides the ocean breath. And that is to simply retain the inhale for a moment and then to suspend the exhale for a moment. But before you really engage with that, simply find that pause at the top of the inhale and find that natural resting place at the bottom of the exhale. So continue with the ocean breath or your natural breath, whatever you're choosing to do, and simply notice. Inhale. There's a natural resting spot there before you exhale. It might be very brief, but it's there. And same at the bottom of the exhale. Oftentimes that one is a little easier to find. So first just finding it. And then to the point that it's comfortable, don't agitate yourself with this in any way. Let it be relaxing. Begin to play with it. Inhale. Pause and feel the fullness. And then exhale. Rest into the emptiness. Inhale, retain. Exhale, suspend. Inhale, filling up with breath, pausing for a moment, feeling the buoyancy. And exhale through the nostrils with control. Using your core to support the full emptying out of the lungs. And rest for a moment. And then from that stillness at the bottom of the exhalation, allow, accept the inhalation. Pause, retain, and then allow the exhalation. And rest for a moment. Inhale. Notice that the more that you exhale, the fuller the next inhalation can be. And then exhale. And rest at the bottom of the exhalation. And notice that these pauses are allowing you to really elongate and deepen both the inhalation and the exhalation. And just a couple more rounds, inhaling fully, receiving the breath, receiving it fully, pausing, and then releasing completely, letting go with control, and resting at the bottom of the exhalation. And then last round, emphasize that exhalation and pause for as long as you can without becoming agitated. at the bottom of the exhalation. Retain. Exhale. Suspend, suspend, suspend. And then just simply return to your ocean breath or your natural breath. And notice if that practice of breath retention and suspension has had any effect. Are there any results on your natural breath? And from here, coming into your tabletop position, open your knees, bring your toes together, settle your hips back into a puppy pose or child's pose, and allow your intention to arise. My intention today is to give support and strength and health to the teachers as they return to school. So if you want to join with me in dedicating this practice to the teachers, please do. If you have another need in your life, please take care of yourself. So rest in the posture for a moment and join with me in dedicating this practice to the teachers or some other quality that you're dedicating your practice to, setting your intention. And inhale, come back up to that tabletop position. And begin to make some circles with your shoulders around the wrists. So remember, tabletop position, the shoulders are stacked right over the wrists. Your hands are shoulder width apart. You're spreading your fingers pretty wide, but you don't need to spread your thumb out too much. And just make circles with your shoulders over the wrists. So you are coming out of that stacking just a little bit. And notice where you feel maybe a little tight or stuck in the wrists or in the hands or in the fingers. And bring your fingers into more of a grippy connection with the mat rather than trying to press everything flat into the mat. And then change the directions of the circles. So we're really focusing here on the hands and the wrists, but hopefully you're feeling a little bit through the core and the back. Of course, the back is part of the core, but through that whole torso and even a little into the hips, the legs, the knees, and feet. Always lightly lifting the navel towards the spine. And then come to stillness, stacking the shoulders back over the wrists again. And now see if you can just move your hips, coming through a tiny little cat and a cow. And you can coordinate with this with the breath. Exhaling as you curl the tailbone under and inhaling as you lift it up. But you're also moving the hips a little side to side. And then change direction. Probably will feel a little weird. We always go in the easiest direction first. So starting to really engage the core here, to move the pelvis, to find the hips, the hip flexors, the outer hips, even the inner hips a little bit here. Good. And then coming back again to just neutral, nice long back of the neck, lengthening the tailbone back, lifting the navel towards the spine, keeping the chest wide by pressing a little bit into the outer arms without moving the arms. And then from here, just begin to make big circles. So now, wrists and hips circling, whole torso circling, out to the sides, back, out to the other side, forward. And a couple more like that. And again, inhaling as you come forward, feel how there's a little back bend, and then exhale, rounding the spine, and change direction. Back to that exhale, rounding a little bit. Inhale, coming forward, tiny back bend. So really keeping the movements pretty small as far as the flexion and extension in the spine here. But maybe feeling there's quite a bit more movement through the side body and the arms and the hips. Good. And then coming back to stillness again. And now, walk your knees back just a little bit behind the hips. And exhale, press back a little. And inhale, see if you can slide forward into any amount of a cobra. Inhale, press back. Allow the spine to round any amount here. And exhale, come into any amount of a back bend. So I'm coming into actually a much deeper cobra than I usually would at the very first, but it's a little easier to do that, coming into it from this puppy or child's pose. But just make sure you are still hugging the elbows in and keeping them a little bit bent. And again, you can see I'm keeping that grippy action with the hands. That helps to protect the wrists. And then back to your tabletop position. And then bringing the knees a little wider. Make sure now that you are really stacking your left shoulder right over your left wrist. Engage the core, drawing the navel up towards the spine. And inhale, right arm up to the sky. And exhale, dive it under. Don't go all the way. Let's warm up a bit here. Inhale, open. Exhale, twist the other direction. Inhale, open twist. Exhale, closed twist, because we're turning towards ourselves here. And then lie the, I gotta get my English right here. So I'm just, because I'm not sure if it's lie or lay, maybe Janet can tell me after. But rest your right arm down onto the mat as best you can, and rest your right temple or your right cheek onto the mat, or the blanket or bolster or block. But you do want to keep that head resting as much as you can. And inhale, left arm up to the sky, reach through your left fingertips. Feel how you're really creating some space here. And then exhale, reach that left hand any amount towards the right. And please just keep your left hand resting on the mat if that's what you need to do. That's perfect as well. Just really listening to your body. And a few breaths here, honoring that pause at the top of the inhalation and resting in that space at the bottom of the exhalation, drawing the navel to the spine. And two more like that. Inhale. Feel how that moves you even in stillness. And exhale. Press the back of the right arm down, lift up the left side of the chest, and one more. Exhale, draw the navel to the spine. If you did reach your left hand back behind you, inhale, reach the left fingertips up to the sky, press the right arm down, and exhale, left hand to the mat. If you kept your left hand on the mat, then we're all together again. And inhale, press the left hand down and slowly lift up. As I so often say, you might feel a lot more coming out of the posture than you did when you were actually in it. Now I can really feel that something happened with my right ribs there, which I think is good. But move around any amount to maybe make sure that you're integrating and creating space for whatever just happened. And other side. Inhale, open to the left, reach the left fingertips to the sky. Exhale, dive under. And 2 more like that before we come all the way into it. Just warming up and preparing here. And then this time, get ready. Inhale, pause for a moment, and exhale. Rest the back of the left arm down onto the mat. Rest your left temple. Use whatever supports you need to use here. Inhale if you want. Right arm up to the sky. You can keep the right hand just pressing down. Or come with me. Exhale, reach that right hand for whatever you can find on the left. And again, breathe with that retention at the top of the inhale and the suspension at the bottom of the exhale. Use your inhale to really press the left arm down, open the right chest, and use your exhale to draw the navel to the spine. And then if you did reach your right hand behind, reach it back up to the sky. Exhale, press that right hand down. Now we're all in the same place. And inhale, press down to rise up. Bring your knees together. If you did, widen them a bit as I did for the greater stability in that stance. And then stretch your right leg back behind you. Tuck your toes under and ground the right toes and ball of the right foot into the mat. And just gently move back and forth. Not too much, but just enough so that you really start to feel something in your calf. That's where I want you to mostly feel this. So move in a way that that's where the physical sensation is. Maybe also feeling a nice opening in the backs of the toes and the sole of the foot. And then as you're ready, engage that right glute, right hamstring. Keep the right toes pointing down. Spin the right inner thigh up to the sky. Extend through the right heel. You should feel a lot of strength in your back leg here, your right leg. And stay here working with this, or if you can bring the left arm up alongside the left ear, keep the nose pointing down. And if you can't do both at the same time, then try just dropping the right toes and lifting the left arm up and then pressing the left arm down and lifting the right leg up, and go back and forth between the two. And you should feel when you lift the leg up, there's more front body work, and when you lift the arm up, there's more back body work. Now, if you're easily holding both the arm and the leg up, then exhale and bring the right knee in towards the left elbow and round the spine. Inhale, reach back out. Exhale, pull in. And one more. Inhale, reach through the left fingertips, right heel. Exhale, pause at the bottom of the exhale. Pull it in, lift up, and release. Inhale, pause, and everyone back to tabletop position and pause. And come back into a puppy, giving the wrists a little break here, or child's pose. Let's see, medium. Try tenting the fingers, lifting the wrists up, giving a little space to the armpits and the upper arms. And then inhale, gotta do that other side. Back up to tabletop position. Stretch the left leg out behind you, curling the left toes under, pressing into the backs of the toes if you can, and into the balls of the foot if you can. If you're just kind of pressing into the tops of the toes, you're still gonna get more of a stretch, any amount, whatever works for you. But see if you can start to bring this movement more into the more into the calf. So you're really opening your left calf. Gently moving forward and back, really sensing into your physical sensations here. And then next inhale, float that left leg up, engage left glute, left hamstring. Really everything is engaged here, left quadricep. Extend through the left heel, engage that inner left thigh. Feel the core engage as well. Keep lifting the navel to the spine, and if it's available, right arm will float up alongside the right ear. If you can't do both, then go back and forth. Put the left toes down, right arm up, right arm down, left toes up. See if you might coordinate it with the breath, that you're lifting something up on the inhale and releasing it down on the exhale. Inhale, exhale. If you're easily holding arm and leg up, then inhale, reach through the right fingertips and the left heel. And exhale, pull the knee in, pull the elbow in, round the spine, and pause. Inhale, reach, retain. Exhale, empty, and pause. And one more. Inhale, exhale. Pull it in, and then inhale, exhale, right hand down, left knee down. So now, working a little bit more with our wrists today. I think maybe you picked up on that at the beginning, that might be coming. So first of all, walk your knees back a little bit if you can. You may not be able to. So first I'm going to show you with your knees stacked right under your hips. So see if you can come up, just very slowly peel the heel of the hand and palm up and come up into that top knuckle of each hand. The thumbs are not really too involved here. And then really slowly come back down. And 2 more times. Peel it up, slowly, press more into the fingers. Feel how those inner arms are engaging. Bringing it out of the wrists, out of the palms, slowly plant back down. Don't plant all the way down. Don't dump into the wrists and the hands, and then slowly peel it up, press into the fingers. Right? It's sort of like that massage that feels good but hurts a little bit. It's good. We're releasing tension, so that's good. And also strengthening that area. And learning to engage through the inner arm instead of dumping all of our weight into the wrists. Okay, and then a couple more wrist exercises. So now I'm spinning this left hand back. So just do this any amount. If you can't get the palm down, that's okay. That's actually fine. And maybe you can't spin all the way back either, that's fine. But right now, my right fingertips are pointing forward and my left fingertips are pointing back behind me. And then I'm lifting, again, peeling up, and I'm bending the left elbow any amount. And then going back down, okay? And 2 more times. Inhale, slowly. Lift up as much as you can, press into the fingers. And exhale. Release it back down. And 1 more time. Try to make it feel good. And keep your awareness on what's happening in the rest of the body. Keep that belly still working, and then let those left fingers come forward. And notice if you don't feel a little bit better now through the wrist and the hand, even though we've been in tabletop position for a really long time. We're almost out of it, don't worry. It'll be worth it. Now, left fingertips pointing forward, right fingertips back, and same thing. Just slowly peeling up any amount. Again, the thumb is not really involved here. That's something I think we've really been learning lately. With the downward dog as well, it's more into the fingers. And release it back down without putting weight into it. And then when you inhale and lift up, you really bring the weight more into the fingers. You can let that right elbow bend. And then slowly peeling it back down onto the mat, but not necessarily putting weight into the wrist, keeping it more into the top of the knuckles. So that's what I hope you really got out of all that, and then maybe just do some natural movements that feel good with the wrists and the fingers here, and maybe fist the hands and rotate the wrists. So when we come into downward dog, this is what we want, that we're more moving into the top knuckles, those little pads, and out of the wrists. So I know some of you really don't like downward dog, but just try it just for a minute. And those of you who do like it, really feel how this supports your downward dog. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips up, press back. So lifting up out of the wrists, pressing more into the fingers, especially that index finger. And yes, you do need your thumb here, but let it be more about the index finger. And you can bend your knees as much as you want to, if that helps. Especially it brings the range of motion out of the wrist, so that can be helpful. And it also helps all of us to begin to really shift the weight of the pose back and then up if you do start to straighten out the legs. Okay. And a couple breaths here. Inhale, pause, exhale, and suspend the breath. And then see if you can tiptoe your feet up to the top of the mat. You might need to come up onto your fingertips or bend your knees a lot to get there. But notice how that helped to engage the core. And then come into your Uttanasana. Keep the core engaged, lift it in and up. Lift up through the ankles, through the kneecaps, into the glutes, into the hip flexors. And then lengthen through the side body, open through the shoulders, elbows buoyant. Feel free to be on blocks here, or hands on blocks, if you need that. And then inhale, come through any amount of a chair pose, sweep your arms out, reach to the sky. And exhale, draw the palms together at the center of your chest. And then coming into your mountain pose, outer edges of the feet parallel. You can have a wider stance if that gives you more stability, or a more narrow stance if that's sometimes squeezing the legs together gives you more stability. So whatever you need, do the inquiry, find out for you what is best. And then whatever you decided, that's fine, but bring your weight onto your left foot. Lift up the ball and the toes of your right foot and plant your heel, and then pull, without moving the heel, pull the ball of the foot away from the heel, and then plant the ball of the foot, spread your toes out, and see if you can plant them down one by one from the pinky into the big toe. So I don't know about you, but now my right foot is a little longer than my left foot. So lift up the ball of the left foot, lift up the toes, plant the heel, pull the ball of the foot forward without moving the heel, plant the ball of the foot, keep the toes lifted for a moment, and then try to plant down one toe at a time, starting with the pinky toe. Oh, phew. Now my left foot is the same length as my right foot. And then spin your palms to face forward. Notice how this may bring any amount, maybe it's just tiny, but some opening into the shoulders. And maybe you're feeling like a lot of space now, in the wrists. I know my wrists are feeling kind of light and open from all that work that we just did. And press your quadriceps back, your glutes forward, and keep lengthening through your tailbone. And feel how that action already began to build the lift through the pelvic floor, and then lift from pubis to sternum, pulling into center. So grounding down through the feet and the legs, and then lifting up from pubis to sternum, rooting the legs, rising up through the chest and into the crown of the head. Let the shoulder blades just be neutral for a moment. Notice what that feels like. Tadasana, mountain pose. Just feel it. Feel how you're grounding down, drawing into center, and lifting up, all at the same time. And then inhale and lift your shoulders up towards your ears. Let the shoulder blades come with. So you're elevating the shoulder blades. Pause at the top of that inhale. And then exhale, move the shoulder blades down the back, depressing the shoulder blades. Poor depressed shoulder blades. Let the shoulders relax. It's actually good in this case, this depression. And pause at the bottom of the exhale. Now on the inhale, reach your arms out wide and all the way up to the sky. And without letting the shoulders come up, let the shoulder blades come up any amount. So if you need to stop here to keep the shoulders from coming up, that's okay. Stay in a big V shape with the arms, but let those shoulder blades come up. And you'll notice that when you keep the shoulders down and let the shoulders come up, this will lift and spread the chest. So if you can, bring the palms together, maybe even Temple Mudra. You can interlace the fingers and press the palms to the sky. That allows the arms to stay apart a little bit. But again, and this is really actually a good option right here because I can really pull my shoulders down, but let the shoulder blades lift all at the same time. And keep drawing that navel to the spine. Keep your toes planted. Good. So letting those shoulder blades elevate a little bit. And then exhale. Releasing the arms down. And then if you can, I'm spinning my mountain around, but you stay still, but bring the hands together, interlace the fingers. Now palms are to the sky, again, just like they were before, and slide the shoulder blades down the back. Now, interestingly, note here, you might be able to lift your chest even higher than when you were elevating the shoulder blades. Now you're depressing the shoulder blades. Good. And let's just move a little bit and then we'll work again with a couple more variations of mountain pose. So stepping up to the front of your mat if you weren't there already. And step that right foot straight back on the railroad track. And right toes are turned slightly out, but really stand into that back leg. Spin that inner right thigh back. Lift from pubis to sternum. Reach your fingertips up to the sky. And exhale. Pull your elbows apart. Slide the shoulder blades down the back. And allow yourself to come into any amount of a lunge. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Arms straighten up to the sky. So feel the shoulder blades slide in and up. So both elevating and retracting. And then exhale, shoulder blades slide down and come apart as you come into these cactus arms. And inhale, reach through the wrists, those nice open, strong wrists that we've been working on. And exhale, pull the shoulder blades apart, elbows apart. Spread the fingers wide, draw the navel to the spine. And then inhale, straighten the front leg, reach the arms to the sky. And exhale, reach forward. Now, if you can, keep pulling the hips in. Do that no matter what. But what I was going to say, if you can, keep the arms alongside the ears. If you can't, grab your blocks to support this nice wide chest, long spine, open front body, and try to really keep this left leg straight. You can have a micro bend in the knee so you're not hyperextending, but try not to bend that front knee. Just come out of it a little bit if you need to keep that front leg straight. You're strengthening this leg as well as opening the hamstring. So now we're going to move. You can also try this with hands on the hips if you like. Inhale, lift up, and exhale, forward. So you could be inhale, lift, exhale, hands to the blocks if you need that, or you could be inhale, arms alongside the ears, exhale, arms alongside the ears. So whatever you choose, let's take one more. Inhale, pause, exhale, pause. And then inhale, release, and exhale, step the right foot up to the top of the mat. And again, bring your awareness to the mountain, to the steadiness of the mountain, but also to what's going on with those shoulder blades. Are they feeling protracted, retracted, elevated, depressed, something in between? And step that left foot back on the railroad track, so your hips are still square to the front of the mat. And first, working with our Warrior One variation. Inhale. Just make everything be as long as you can here. Long, strong legs, long, straight arms, long through the side waist. Pulling that right hip back, left hip forward. And then exhale, rather than coming forward, see if you can drop down into the lunge. Move the shoulder blades apart. Move out into those elbows as you work with cactus arms. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Let the shoulder blades, but not the shoulders, move up and in. And then exhale, cactus arms, let the shoulder blades, move down and out. Inhale, pause, exhale, pause. And then inhale, arms alongside the ears. And now moving into the pyramid pose variation. So you can work with this, inhaling, pausing, and exhaling, pausing, or hands on the hips. Inhale, exhale, and feel again with the shoulder blades, there's a natural coming together on the inhale as you lift your heart, and a little spread as you exhale, draw the navel to the spine. You can use the blocks too. Okay, and one more. Inhale, strengthen the back leg. Exhale, strengthen the back leg. Good. Oh, and let's do our pause. Sorry, so one more. Inhale, pause at the top of the inhale, stand into that back leg, press into the right big toe mound, and exhale, pull that right hip back, left hip forward, navel to the spine, keep the chest wide. And then inhale, rise, and exhale, step your left foot up to the top of the mat. And so now that we've done that, let's work with pyramid pose for a moment, the full pyramid pose. Notice if after all of that, those different actions with grounding down through the legs, getting in touch with your shoulder blades, what that will do for your pyramid pose. So inhale, hands on the hips, and use your hands to really hug those hips in to center and pull that right hip forward, left hip back. So the hands are really helping you to establish the stability of the pelvis there. And then exhale, draw the navel to the spine. Feel free to work with the blocks here at the highest height, middle height, lowest height, or if you can maintain a wide chest and a long spine and that straight front leg. I really want you to have a straight front leg, please, and come out of it if that's what you need to do to keep that front leg straight. So hopefully you're noticing there's a lot of strength involved with our flexibility. Press evenly into both feet and use that energy to move both hips back. Try to even out the hips. Inhale, pause at the top of the inhale. Exhale completely, draw the navel to the spine. And then inhale, see if you might rise up effortlessly now into a warrior one. And exhale, palms to the center of your chest, step the right foot forward. And then sliding that left foot straight back on the railroad track, squaring your hips off with the front of the mat. Again, have your blocks ready if you need them. Strengthen the back leg, especially the left glute. Using your hands on your hips to hug the hips into center and pull that right hip back, left hip forward. And then if you like, arms can be alongside your ears. If you have that strength in the legs, then to exhale. If not, hands on the hips, find the blocks or the mat. Again, make sure that whatever you choose here allows you to have a straight front leg and a straight back leg. So that might mean coming out of the posture, fingertips on the blocks to maintain that. And then 3 breaths, inhaling, widening the chest, maybe drawing the shoulder blades a little in more. And exhaling, drawing the navel to the spine. Feel the shoulder blades protract a bit more, move apart. So by pausing at the top of the inhale, gives you a moment to really connect with what's happening with your body on the inhale. And exhale, empty the breath. And then you have that moment to recognize what's happening on my body with the exhale. And then again, inhale, come into any variation of Warrior One that works for you. Notice maybe the effortlessness, or at least less effortful nature of Warrior One after this work that we've been doing. Exhale, palms to the center of your chest, and step the left foot up to the top of the mat. And let's just complete our work here with mountain pose. So we worked with mountain pose, shoulder blades moving up, and mountain pose, shoulder blades moving down the back. So now let's work with mountain pose, really bringing the shoulder blades in, retracting. So come back to the interlace of the fingers behind, or use a strap. And before we were using this to move the shoulder blades down the back. This time, I want you to use it to move the shoulder blades in towards the spine. So maybe both are still happening, but bring your awareness more to moving the shoulder blades in towards the spine. So let me see if I can show you the difference here. Here's moving the shoulder blades down the back. I'm pressing down through the knuckles more. And then moving the shoulder blades into the spine, I might actually lift the knuckles a little bit here. Or if I'm using a belt, a strap, or whatever, I'm more lifting the arms to get the shoulder blades to move in towards the spine. Good. And exhale, release. And then moving into some protraction of the shoulder blades. So inhale, arms come up to shoulder height. I feel they're retracting a bit here and rising, elevating. And then exhale, see if you can lower the shoulder blades, depress those shoulder blades, and feel how they're really protracting here. Bring the right elbow over the left, cross the elbows. If that's what is happening for you, this is fine. Just work with that, bring a little tension here, pulling those shoulder blades apart, but keeping the shoulders down. If you can, cross the wrists, face the palms, feel free to do that. And if you'd like to move from your mountain, keeping all those mountain principles in play into more of a chair pose, feel free to do that. And if you'd like to come all the way into the full eagle, cross up as high as you can, tuck the foot back, find your peripheral gaze here, find your core, move the shoulders down, elbows up, shoulder blades apart, and breathe into that space between your shoulder blades. Inhale, pause, exhale, release. And of course, feel free to just stay here, working with mountain, or here with chair. But if you're in chair or eagle, feel how mountain is still really the basis of that posture. And then exhale, release. And other side. So this time, inhale, the shoulders, arms up to shoulder height, reach through the fingers. And on this exhale now, left elbow over right. Fold the elbows so they're at 90 degrees. And this might be what's happening for you. Just focus on that space between the shoulder blades. If you can, cross the wrists, face the palms, pull the shoulders down, shoulder blades apart. Breathe into that space between your shoulder blades, retaining the breath at the top of the inhale and at the bottom of the exhale, moving into chair pose if you want, or into eagle with right leg crossing over if that's available. But if you did move into eagle or into chair, feel how mountain is still the basis of the posture. And let's all meet back in mountain. And on an exhale, unwind, unravel, and release the arms, face the palms forward. Close your eyes, pause, and feel. Top of the mat, if you weren't there already. Inhale, sweeping up to the sky, reach through the fingertips, gaze follows. And exhale, swan dive, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, float up halfway, find that flat back. And exhale, little squat, and step back into plank with knees up or down. And just pause here for a moment, finding those wrists again. Remember how they felt at the beginning of your practice. Notice if maybe you're now more naturally gripping with the fingers and lifting up out of the wrists. You can always walk the knees back a little so you don't have as much of a sharp degree in the wrists. Some of us don't have that availability, but keep using your core in either case. And then cross your elbows, cross your ankles, walk your hands back. You can roll over your ankles or sit to one side. But in any case, find your way into Shavasana. So grab whatever you need to be comfortable here. If you have a blanket or a bolster that you'd like to put under your legs, do that. Just make sure that your heels are resting either on the mat or grab your blocks and place your heels on the blocks. And lower yourself down onto the mat. Allowing those inner thighs to fluff open, your toes to relax. Maybe feeling a little more space and a little more energy through the arms and into the wrists and the fingers. Let the palms be open to the sky. And let your first 3 cycles of breath here be the breath retention, retaining the breath at the top of the inhale, and the breath suspension. Kambuka, it's called, this retention and suspension. And suspend the breath at the bottom of the exhale. And 2 more. One more. And then let that go. Let go of your ocean breath if you were practicing that. But do continue to observe your breath. The natural cadence and rhythm, the melody and harmony of the breath with the body. Think of the breath as the melody and the body as the harmony, that the body harmonizes to the breath. Allow your exhalation to be soft. And allow the exhalation to soften your whole being. So you might allow every bit of light and love to come in, to be absorbed. And then inhale deeply into the center of your chest and exhale through an open mouth, letting out any kind of a sound. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Move the facial skin, wiggle the nose. See if you might allow a soft and gentle smile to alight upon your face. Inhale, reach your arms overhead, squeeze the legs together. If that feels good, pencil stretch, it's not for everybody. But do on an exhale, pull those knees in. Give yourself a hug. Let your shoulders be wide, so keep the shoulder blades apart and sliding down the back. Pull the shoulders out of the ears if you'd like. Maintain that and pull the forehead towards the knees. And then as you're ready, rolling over onto your right side, pausing there for 3 cycles of breath. And allow that 4th cycle of breath to support you as you rise up to find your steady, easy seat. Close your eyes, gazing inward, returning to that inquiry of the inner terrain, that inner ocean that we explored earlier. And notice that even though you've let go of the Kumbhaka, the retention, and even though you've let go of retaining and suspending the breath, it's still there. Observe your breath, observe the pause at the top of the inhale. Don't make it happen, just watch it happen. Exhale, and just notice that rest at the bottom of the exhalation. And from this place of witness consciousness, again observing that ocean of thought and feeling and sensation, and your divine power to regulate that. That you can choose the weather that's inside you. Allow the palms to meet at the center of the chest, thumbs resting on the sternum. Inhale, open wide. And feel that evenness of pressure between the palms, that the central nervous system and the brain, without any conscious thought, create this balance of your two palms meeting at the center of your chest. And remember the intention that you set for your practice today, or if you were working with that dedication to the teachers, pull that up, send it out to them. If you were working with something else, send it to yourself or to whoever you were thinking of. Know that your practice is powerful, that it makes a difference. That as it makes a difference in your life, it has an impact on the world around you. Namaste.